Give it a second. What's good, what's good, what's good, everybody? Thank you so much, Copenhagen. Thank you. Gonna give it a second to everybody to come in. What's good, everybody? Thank you so much, Copenhagen. Thank you. You're greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. What's good, Mermaid Dreams? Okay. So, what's good, Sugar Plum? So, today is usually Witchy Wednesdays. But as you guys know, we had a thank you so much, Copenhagen. I greatly appreciate you. We had a very big portal day yesterday, and it was the US's Pluto return. So there was a lot of powerful energy yesterday. So today is usually Witchy Wednesdays, and maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But Spirit wanted me to do something else, and I guess it has something to do with the portal energy that we just came out of, okay? What's good, Mary? So I got up this morning. I had several clients hit me up that have been facing some issues, okay, in their personal life. And they all seem to be, have something to do with relationships. And it didn't hit me at first, you know, because the portal is supposed to be the unification of all the 5 parts of ourselves. And it didn't hit me at first, but since I woke up this morning, all I kept hearing in my head was a song by Miguel, okay, Sure Thing. And after I had a couple conversations with some people today, I realized why the song was playing. It was because Spirit kept playing it over and over in different parts of the lyrics because they wanted me to do a divine masculine reading. And so that's what I'm going to do, okay? So where I'm going to start with, because this is a song that I'm familiar with, but I never really sat down. You know, usually if I get the song as strongly as I did today, only 1 or 2 times before, with Black Butterfly and with Family Portrait by Pink, did Spirit basically tell me, go listen with your spiritual ears. And then also we had that other song, what was Love by Music Child, Soul Child or whatever, right? So it's happened a couple times that Spirit's like, go listen with your spiritual ears. Okay? What's good through Maddie's eyes? Okay, so I did that. Okay, I did that, and I made sure to write down some of the lyrics because I didn't want to forget. Okay, sometimes Spirit will put certain lyrics, but not enough of the song for me to get the whole picture. Okay, so I'm going to read it. You guys should go and listen afterwards because there could be a message in it for you. I only wrote down the first verse. I didn't do the second. Okay, but it says, love you like a brother, treat you like a friend, treat you like a lover. You could bet that, never gotta sweat that. You could bet that, never gotta sweat that. If you be the cash, I'll be the rubber band. You be the match, I will be the fuse. Boom. Partner, baby, you could be the muse. I'm the reporter, baby, you could be the news. You're the cigarette, and I'm the smoker. We raise the bet, cause you're the joker. Check it off, you're the blackboard, and I could be the chalk. You can be the talk, and I will be the walk. What's good, Jennifer LaRoe? And you can be the, and even when the sky is falling, even when the sun don't shine, I got faith in you and I. So put your pretty little hand in mine. Even when we're down to the wire, babe, even when it's do or die, we could do it, babe, simple and plain. because this love is a sure thing. Okay, so I feel like I was saying earlier in the week that the divine masculine, it might have even been yesterday, was going to get cracked open. Okay, so you know, with us all coming into our ourselves, we may be on different timelines, and that's the energy that I'm picking up. So I'm not really sure what spirit is going to show us. You know, I feel like they may have a mindset that things are still possible. You may feel differently. You know, we're going to do like a you versus them, because I want to see, or maybe we should just let what falls out, you know. But let's start with some incense and some palo santo, so we could try to discern what spirit's trying to tell us happened to the divine masculine with the portal. Now, remember, you have divine masculine inside of you too, so this could be also reflecting a change in you. Okay? So let me just light some palo santo. Of course, I took the lighter that is like the weakest. Okay, we're getting it to light now. Light this incense as well. Okay, and I happen to love Miguel, but I hadn't heard that song in a minute, so I don't really know why it came up. Okay, you could bet that, never gotta sweat that. You could bet that, never gotta sweat that. All right, so let's get some oracle cards going first. What should I get, Spirit? Is there a specific deck that you want? Let me see this over here. I'm gonna save this for the last one for the feminine. There you go, Jennifer. It was super powerful, right? What's good, Angelina? Okay, so let's see what's going on. Even when the sun don't shine, I got faith in you and I. So put your little hand in mine. Even when it's down to the wire, babe. Even when it's do or die. 'Cause this love is a sure thing. Okay, so you got third chakra, Archangel Shamuel, and this is your solar plexus, okay? So this could be you or this could be them, okay? There's 37 reduces to a 10, okay? There's somebody's about to take some action. This could be you, this could be them. If you notice, his solar plexus is lit up, but it's also lighting up his chest, okay? You got the temple path. Okay, and then number 12 reduces to a 3. We're talking about the divine, okay, the Trinity. You know, we talk about that a lot over here. Okay, you got angel of balance. Somebody's coming in and bringing assistance. You got number 48 reduces to a 12, reduces to a 3 again, right? And then you got envy, 2, right, reduces to a 2. So I feel like, you know, the divine feminine, She's become very protective of her energy. I feel like people, male or female, who have not done like some work, they may feel envious but not know why they feel envious. It's because of your evenness, okay? Unshakable, they said. Okay, so your peacefulness or your ability to maintain a frequency is desired by other people, even though they may not understand that that's what they are admiring in you. What's good, Cynthia? So that's the first thing I'm picking up. Let's get this mystical Martian. And I'm going to use this deck a little bit differently today. Spirit, can you give me one for the divine feminine and one for the divine masculine? Because this is like starseed deck, okay, mystical Martian. And I feel like this, you know, it's all about different places in the cosmos that you could have came from. And I want to see what's the polarity. Okay, I feel like there's some type of polarity going on here. Spirit, can I get one for the divine masculine, please? One for the divine masculine. Okay. I love them too. And can I get one for the divine feminine, please? Divine feminine, please. Divine feminine. So there's already a switch. Okay, so the divine masculine got grays, timid, misunderstood, and shy. Okay, I'm going to actually read that. And normally I don't be even paying attention to these books. Like I go with spirit, but I feel like there's a clue here. Give me a second. I have never even looked in here. 32. Okay, so it says, there are many varieties of short grays. They originate from the Orion constellation. Zeta Reticulum grays are typically around 3 to 4.5 feet in height. The short grays are largely now a hybrid, and some are a clone species that no longer have access to their soul matrix. The Alpha Dracrion own, operate, and oversee the genetic engineering and cloning of the MILAB programs. What's good, Trisha? What's good, Tamila? Okay, the short grays have enormous, haunting, wraparound dark black eyes, which they are able to use while making eye contact with someone to hypnotize them into a trance. Like the tall grays, their skin color varies in tones of gray. They do not physically eat, though they do acquire nutrients from various sources by absorbing energy through their skin. Okay? So, you also got here the 1947 Roswell crash in New Mexico brought a short gray's existence to the public attention. The short gray's mode of interstellar travel is usually disc-like crafts. They have no sexual organs and no known emotions. They are purely logical and incredibly intelligent and telepathic. It is reported that they too are dying species and are desperate to save themselves from extinction. Some short grays have been associated with the abduction and contactee phenomenon which reportedly the short grays experimentally do with methodologies which will hopefully help them access their soul matrix and thereby assist their genetic species. They are largely a slave subservient race that complies under the Alpha Draconian rule, okay? So I feel like the main point that I take away from the description here is that they don't have access to their emotions, okay? So now they also got alchemy, the philosopher's stone. I feel like this may be the point of which they were struck by that cracking open that I have been talking about. That's number 26. And, you know, this is not a video to attack the divine masculine, okay? We're trying to get a better understanding of both the divine masculine within us and also how, you know, if we're trying to achieve unity consciousness, then we need to look at how we need to better relate to each other, okay? So here we have, and this doesn't mean it's just a person that you let go of. I'm talking about even the new people, right? Because if we don't do the work or we don't have an understanding of what's happening, then we're also not going to be able to accept things as they're coming in, all right? So they got alchemy, the philosopher's stone. The philosopher's stone, or the great work, Latin, magnus opus, was the term for the ancient esoteric alchemists, scientists, prima matera, okay? Prima matera work. Magnus opus literally means masterpiece, and prima mastera means formless substance from the universe. Ancient alchemy was shrouded in the coded doublespeak, which involved both psychological chemistry of turning base metals into gold, known as the elixir of life and immortality, possibly monatomic gold, which holds interdimensional qualities. Simultaneously, the alchemists, scientists, mystics practice this esoteric shifting of the universe, either essences and energy, hidden or non-seers. The philosopher's stone alchemy symbol of squaring the circle is both mathematical and metaphorical. Mathematically, squaring the circle only with the straight lines and circles is impossible. Metaphorically, squaring the circle is about the merging of the spirit and the matter. So this is what's occurring to them, okay? If they were in a space where they were and we've talked about this, about how this patriarchy has set up the masculine to fail as well. It's not just the feminine, right? So if that's the case and they were brought up disconnecting from the soul and now it's awakened, it's like being, you know, electric shocked or being thrown with cold water, right? Okay, so and this alchemy is trying to merge the spirit with the matter. The large circle symbolizes the infinite macro universe. The triangle balancing within the circle symbolizes the ether, spirit, trinity of past, present, and future, life, death, rebirth, mind, body, and soul. The material square inside the triangle symbolizes the four elements, the four directions, or the four seasons. The smallest circle inside the square symbolizes the micro infinite void that links you back into the macro infinite universe, okay? So I feel like this is them awakening. This is them awakening. Okay? Now, for the feminines, you got the Lyrians. And it says strength, courage, and bravery. Okay, and this alchemy stone, it says infinity, destiny, and magic. Okay, so those masculines that were not awakened, because there are some that are already awakening, right? They're starting to see that there was something, and I said this maybe last week, that there was something to what you were saying, or something that they realized that you were right about, okay? And this may not be so that particular person can return. Sometimes we're in people's lives to change something that they need to confront. Okay, so this is not just about your last relationship. This is about how you move forward. Okay, I want to keep stressing that. Okay, you got Lyrians. The feline, they already went there. The feline Lyrians are sometimes referred to as the lion people or cat people. The Lyrian civilization originates from North Lyria constellation, which also contains Vega. The Lyrian genotype was often the dominant original mother genotype used in ancient star seed projects of the cosmos, as they are one of the oldest bloodlines in the Milky Way galaxy. I was just talking about mitochondrial DNA yesterday. Many ETs within the Milky Way galaxy are astrally related to the ancient Lyrians. They usually stand 6 to 10 feet tall and are solid to muscular in build. Their complexions vary anywhere from light golden amber to dark chocolate brown hues. Some Lyrians have strawberry blonde to vibrant ginger and red hair. The darker Lyrians have dark or black hair. Lyrian flesh is covered in light, soft type of fuzz, not actual fur, that have feline type eyes and slightly pointed ears set higher on their heads. The Lyrians have battled many bloody cosmic wars in the past with the Orion, okay, the Greys, right? Alpha, Draconian, and Reptilian empires. Lyrians live a harmonious lifestyle and practice careful biodiversity of their ecosystem. Prior to the Egyptian pyramids ever being built, the ancient Egyptian Sphinx was built by the Lyrians and other visitors of the time during the Leo 2000-year constellation time phase of the precision of the equinoxes. Lyrians do not suffer fools gladly and are honest, open, bold, and proud race. They are known to be combative and fiery for matters they value dearly, which also being warm and affectionate. It is said that Lyrians have one of the most intensive collections of ancient cosmic history in our galaxy. Today, they are mostly considered a retired honorable race and hold great prestige in the Galactic Council, which we were talking about, the Council of the Priestesses. All right, so basically, this is the feminine energy. All right, that's what we pulled. And what does it say? Strength, courage, and bravery. So it's as if you've come into this union of yourself, and it has given you an internal strength. It's as if you have recognized that all that you need is already within you, that you don't need to search for it outside. And if we go back to the lyrics, right? You could bet that, never gotta sweat that. You could bet that, never gotta sweat that. You be the cigarette, I'll be the smoker. We place a bet because you're the joker. So in another part he says, because I'll be the 1 and you could be the 10, meaning that he doesn't feel complete without the divine feminine. Now, this could be his own divine feminine that he's coming to awakening, right? But this is also the stage that you were in before, when you felt you needed something outside of yourself to be complete. Okay, so this is what I mean about us being on different timelines, all right? Let's get an astro code. I'm glad I read out that Mystic Martians, because I feel like that was very, very apt. And then with the Greys saying timid, misunderstood, and shy, right? And then being changed in their frequency, and then us feeling very empowered. They're saying this is causing, I feel like, fear, okay? Something for the feminines, please. Messages, okay? So there's communication, even if it's not in the 3D. This could be astral planing, okay? In your dreams, okay? In the 5D. You guys know. Okay, so they got out here, Gemini cross-pollinate. I feel like this cross-pollinate was a lot of the way that they were taught, right? To, have many partners and all of that, right? But I also feel like this cross-pollinate has shifted into like the left brain and the right brain kind of wanting to talk to each other. Okay, yeah, look, Aquarius collaborate. Okay? So Trisha says, I feel that the latest matrix has the same theme of unification of both energies. One on its own is not balanced. The one is both together. Right. Okay, so you have here first house arrival. I feel like this awakening is really just, not saying that it just started, but they're just recognizing, okay? And then Pisces season, right? And then here you got sensitize. So it's like now all of these sensories are being activated, but it's more like soul sensory. Okay, and I feel like they're not understanding this language. They feel a shift, but they don't know what it is, right? You got Uranus. So change, you've already embraced the change. I'm feeling like metamorphosis, okay? You got Scorpio investigate. I feel like this is like waking up in a new timeline and looking around you and not really recognizing much. So you're trying to acclimate yourself to something that feels like a new frequency. Okay, and then strength comes out again for you, and it's dignified. It's in the grace in which you're doing it, which goes back to this envy and how I was saying that the feminine's frequency, she's learned how to balance, okay? How to maintain the frequency when other things or people are shifting around her. She has learned how not to so much internalize, which was a big feat for the feminine, because we're raised to internalize everything and to use it from an internal aspect to understand how we feel in the world. And now it's like a shift. It's like we're no longer letting that energy be impervious into us. Okay, this might be part of the shadow protection, but I feel like it has something to do with the realization of the inner wholeness. Okay, let's get a divine abundance, and then we're gonna get into some tarot. Can I get one for the masculine? Extraordinary. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. So I'm getting like schoolboy energy, right? A little mischievous. Like when, you know, I have two sons, right? And how when they were younger, you know, and if you took them to a place that they wanted to go or that they wanted to experience but didn't experience, and how they sometimes have trouble with overstimulation outwardly. At least my sons did. Okay, whereas my daughter was more controlled and it was more inward, right? So I feel like they're awakening to a new part. and it feels almost like magical, but confusing as hell, and overstimulation, and the sensitized, and the sensory being awakened. Okay, inner power. Give me the courage and the power to do what must be done. Okay, this also means looking at some things internally, because once you start to open your third eye, you can't just close it like that. You can't just unsee the things. So after this excitement of this new thing, this new inner sensation calms down, there's going to be a period of reflection, they're saying. All right, for the feminine, can you show me? And I think that has to do with just the way that we are sexualized in like what our roles are in society, okay? It may be coping mechanisms, but it feels like we're kind of trading places. Spirit, can you show me what would you like to show the divine feminine from this deck? Anything else? Thank you. Karma's at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. Love. Divine source is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation, only love itself. And didn't I say that the divine feminine had realized that all that she needed was within, meaning her divine feminine, her divine masculine, her inner child, her shadow self, and her higher self? Like, it's always been there. Okay, but we were socialized to look outside of ourselves to be completed. Whereas the divine masculine was told he was complete, right? And that the world was his oyster, right? So here's a true offering. True offering takes what can be an unbearable cross and returns it to love. Okay, so they're talking about the feminine not allowing the experiences of the past to taint her heart space so that she can't receive the love that now she knows has always dwelled within her. It's the spark of her life, right? But even in this protective shell and this new semblance of the five parts, this, just because you realize that everything you need is within you, doesn't mean that you stop things from coming in. Okay, you got guidance as well. And it says, when you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. And I feel like this goes back to this envy and this balance, right? Like you're in your balance, and this is causing people to have some type of jealousies, right? But it's almost like you have blinders, like you're so focused on where you need to go, okay? But I was telling someone yesterday, and I bring this up, I think this is important to say. I was talking to someone yesterday, and they have recently left their partner. And they have a child together, so they have to still co-parent. The child is young, right? And I noticed that this divine feminine was repelled by even the attempt of the divine masculine to look within. And let me just sideways say that this divine masculine that we're talking about, they haven't gotten it. Okay, they're starting to get it, but they haven't gotten it. And they're still very defensive in the era of pain of going through a separation. Anyway, I pointed out to this divine feminine that it's okay to choose a new path and not want to be with someone, right? But if you have a child with them, and it's not like an abusive situation where they were beating your ass or, you know, whatever the case may be, and you know that you have to deal with this person, right? Don't let the newness of your freedom ruin a connection that you must have with this person, okay? Because what is repelling you, it's not so much that person, because once you detach emotionally, you shouldn't feel either emotion to an extreme of like disgust or extreme love, right? If you were healthily detached, you would be somewhere in the middle. So if you're repelled and this person hasn't really done anything, right? Then what are you repelled by? Are you repelled by the fact that your frequency changed and you ascended? This person did not. And every time you look at them, they're a mirror of who you used to be. Of who you used to be. And now it's like you're angry at them. So it's like while you're ascending, you can't really be mad at them for not being able to get to where you are, because their journey is different. That's like the energy of wanting to control it. Okay, so I just want to point that out, because if you're looking at your past relationships, even if they were toxic, you should look at them as lessons, right? But if you're looking back with such vitriol and disdain, you're still carrying it. Okay, here's karma. You might think you're carrying it in a different way, but you're really not. Okay? And this says there's nothing from the past that can't be addressed in this current life. Okay? I really feel like, Spirit is pointing out here that we all have karma, both good and bad. Right? So this person could be going through some karma because their awakening is a little bit behind, right? And you could be going through karma because now that you distance yourself from these toxic things, it's really holding a mirror of who you used to be. And maybe, it's not only the divine masculine that's the runner. I'm not saying go call your ex. There's a reason why it's your ex. But I'm saying how are we viewing it? Through what lens are we viewing it? Okay? So let's see. Should we do a you versus them, or should we just look at the divine masculine? What do you all think, huh? Let me put this back. And what deck do I want to use? I'm going to try not to do it as a formatted reading, and I'm just going to ask some questions and see what Spirit has to say. Spirit, where is the divine masculine right now in their ascension? Where is the divine masculine right now in their ascension? Anything else? So the Four Cups, okay? I feel like in light of this short grays and not being in touch with their soul energy, right? That there's an awakening to some missed opportunities, but this person hasn't taken their arms off the cup to allow anyone to pour into it yet. So they may be coming to a realization that they've stopped themselves from experiencing some things, okay? Okay, they also have the Knight of Wands with the Three of Pentacles, okay? So this is like, I recognize I've been missing out on something. This is how I've been living as the Knight of Wands, coming in and out, because the world is my oyster and I was told that I'm already complete. But I really want this Three of Pentacles. I really would like to collaborate, right? Even could be envious of the gift of the divine feminine and how she can birth things, whether it's projects, children, whatever, and wanting to come into union with their divine feminine within, all right? Learning to want to master that frequency as well, even if they can't articulate that. It's like they're recognizing something's missing, okay? Where's the divine feminine at in her ascension right now? Okay. You got justice. This feels like you awakening to your power, or you awakening to learn how to come into some type of balance, internal balance. This is also you willing to fight for what you believe in, for yourself, for your self-love, okay? You also have the Knight of Cups here. I feel like you are in a somewhat communal spirit, okay? Not completely shut off to love, okay? But it feels more like fun and social. To me, the Knight of Cups is more social, okay? Dreamy. This could be wanting to spend time with like-minded people, to feel jovial, all right? Hangman, okay? I feel like this hangman is not really stuck. I'm seeing this as two ways, and I'm going to read it out both ways. Is not really stuck. This is you kind of adjusting to this new perspective. Now, for some of yous, you know, if it's a specific person that's trying to return, you might feel like, you know, your shift in attitude towards this connection or towards the masculine is justice. But be careful that, back to what I was saying about this karma and looking at the mirror, be careful that you're not viewing them through the eyes of equality, and that you're looking at them through the eyes of like what they remind you of, okay? And then you have, you know, this Knight of Cups, right? So you could be, you know, like saying you deserve that. You deserve to wait, okay? And you know, I'm going to take my time. So what if you feel stuck if you're trying to offer me a cup? That could be some of the divine feminine's energy right now. Not all of yous, okay? But some of yous could just be feeling like, you know what? I'm learning this self-love for myself. I'm the Knight of Cups, but I want to be more sociable and just enjoy this new frequency that I'm in, because I was in the Ten of Wands for so long, and I finally have put the death of these burdens and these heartbreaks, and I'm ready for this new world, okay? So you're looking very forward and very action-oriented, okay? It feels like this person over here is more in contemplative energy, okay? What does the divine masculine, what does the divine masculine feel is the disconnect between the divine masculine and the divine feminine? What do they feel is the disconnect? What do they feel is the disconnect, please? So they feel that they're having trouble, because you got the Lovers with the Magician. Now, this does reflect a choice, but I feel like what it is that they need to, they feel like they've made the choice in love and that they want to manifest this, okay? Or that they want to change this, that they want to alchemize this, okay? They want to move forward, okay? Whether they see it with you or somebody else, okay? We're not talking about reunions. We're talking about where the divine masculine sees himself and where the divine feminine sees themselves, okay? We're two separate people, beings, okay? They feel like they want to choose love, but they don't know how to alchemize it, okay, to move forward, okay? It always ends up in the Five of Cups for them. And they finally want to put an end to that, okay? What does the divine feminine feel is the issue between the divine masculine and the divine feminine? How do they see this situation? So you have the Page of Cups here. I'm gonna give it to you straight. It feels like what you feel is that it's too little too late. With the Page of Cups, that's a small cup, okay? It also feels like you were always giving to their cup, right? But there's this small offer and the Two of Wands, and you've already chosen one of these wands. And I'm gonna say something else too. Like, I feel like you're like saying like, with one of these, I can get 10 of those, right? I can get a new wand. Like, that little offer that you're giving me of an apology or a small, you know, Netflix and chill, like, I don't even want that wand. I'm going to choose something greater because I've awakened to my value, my worth, okay? Yes, there's a lot of passion here, but I'm being led by the High Priestess to avoid future heartbreak, okay? And I've decided that I'm putting a death to that part of my life that has brought me so many burdens. I'm filling my own cup as the Queen of Cups, okay? But with the Two of Pentacles, underneath that, there's a need to look at who's making the decision. Not to say that the decision is wrong. I really feel like there's not too many decisions that is wrong. It's more about perspective, right? So you just, you know, we always say hindsight is 20/20, right? So it's really important that when you make these decisions, and you could be firmly right in making the decision, but that you know why you made it, okay? That you know why you did it. So that way, 7 months, a year later, you're like, oh yeah, you know, I made the right choice, but I didn't make it for the right reasons. Because I didn't want to look in the mirror, or it reminded me, you remind me of a love that I once knew, right? There's something here about maybe the divine feminine over protecting herself, right? Where this is like, you put up a wall to keep out the water, but how high is the wall that it kept out the sunlight? Like that kind of thing. Okay? So, what does the divine masculine feel needs to be done internally within themselves? What needs to be done internally within themselves? So here's the dilemma. They know that action has to be taken, some type of motion, okay? They feel like they could get left behind, or they feel like something's calling them. That's that GPS that we've been talking about for over a year. The pinging, right? But they're not sure. What's good, Tammy? They're not sure about where they're supposed to go. What does this mean? Is this an illusion? This is still so new that I'm confused. And does this divine feminine want me? Is it a sure thing, such a sure thing? Even if it's down to the wire, babe. Even if it's do or die. I got faith in you and I. Put your pretty little hand in mine, right? So they still want to lead, but they're confused because they don't know where the fuck they're going. Right? So they're not sure what they have to clean out. What they just know that there's something has awakened, right? What does the divine feminine feel needs to be done internally within herself? Okay? What does the divine feminine feel she needs to do internally within herself? Boom. Two of Swords. Remember when I was saying that the divine feminine might not want to look at where she just left because it reminds her of parts of herself that what she used to be, right? What's good, Tara? Right? Look how you had been covering your eyes, right? Why? Because to look at their what they were making you feel, a lot of the time the divine feminine will push down her emotion for the greater good, what she believes is the greater good, which is keeping the family unit together, or the love frequency, right? And what she was really not recognizing was that same toxicity that she was receiving from that person also resided in her, or else it wouldn't have even come in. It wouldn't have even been able to make its way in. And I'm sure you can recognize that now that you've come more into balance and you realize that there's not spaces in your world for that. But there was at one time, okay? You see, she's the devil here. Regardless of what he did, he might have just been there to show you what was living within you. How about that? How about he was there to show you that how you save the unit is save yourself, right? And then the Ace of Pentacles. And didn't I say that the divine feminine has just realized that everything is already within her? She already has the 5 parts of herself, okay? She has everything that she needed within, right? But be careful still, now that you've come to this realization, remember that we're all got the devil within us, okay? We all got a little devil within us. Anybody who tells you other, they're fucking lying. They're hypocritical. Okay? So it's like this is the thing. I said last week, like, you know what? Like, I don't look back like I be holding mental funerals for people, which is true. And then maybe that's not so healthy. Right? Because like I will try to death with someone. And then once I feel like, you know what, there's nothing else to be done, there's nothing else to be said, I'm gone. Like, I mean, I'm gone. I have a friend, a male friend of mine that's been my friend for shit, since I was like 21, right? And he's done several things over the years, never was involved with this person. So, you know, this is totally platonic. Done several things that I didn't like over the years, okay? And I was going in for a big surgery. This was like, I don't know, 2016. And I told him, you know, because he was always sending me like fucking garbage, like, you know, videos to watch, stupid shit, you know. And I sent him a message and I was like, yo, please do me a favor. Like, I'm going in for a big surgery. I was getting my a hysterectomy. And I'm like, I really don't want to be bothered. And if you could please, and he wasn't just doing it to me, he was doing it to my daughter too. So I asked him to please stop because she brought it to my attention that he was bothering her too. So I asked him to please stop sending these damn videos. And he kept doing it. And then I told him, I sent him another message like the day before my surgery. And I was like, bro, like we go back like Cadillacs. Like, please do me a favor on the strength of our friendship. Don't send me another fucking video. Don't. I told you I'm going into surgery. I need to be relaxed, right? What did he do? Girl, when I tell you he sends me a message every day since 2015 or 16, and I have not answered one. Not one. I was thinking about this last week, like, yo, that's a little hardcore, right? But it was because I felt like I had said to him on the strength of our friendship, which means that I'm not kidding, right? And it was like he didn't respect my boundaries, so it was done. Okay, so I'm trying to work on that within myself. Like, I'm not saying I'm gonna send him a message because I'm probably not. But what I'm saying is I want to recognize that I can detach without severing. Correct. Correct. We are not, listen, we will give you 1,000 chances. We're one of the most patient signs. But when we say it's fucking no, don't cross that line, and you cross that line, you've died. Goodbye. Some of them will be angered and they'll see the red, but the majority of us will just be like, okay, bye, you're done, right? So this is what I'm saying. Like, we need to also look at how we handle things and why. Okay, so let's continue. What does the divine masculine feel? Because I asked what they need to do inwardly, right? So what are they willing to do outwardly to come into balance with the divine feminine? What are they willing to do outwardly to come into balance with the divine feminine? Even if that's a little bit within and without, right? What would they, are they willing to do outwardly, Spirit? Yeah. So, okay, this is very interesting. So I feel like for most of the divine feminines, they have always kind of felt a little bit external from the internal part of the divine masculine. Okay? Like they always felt like, yes, and I've been in 3 long-term, and I mean long-term, like each a decade or better, long-term relationships, right? And it feels like, you know, for the divine feminine, she has felt many times like there was a portion of the divine masculine that she could never reach, that was off limits, that maybe was for his friends, or where it was his pains, the part of the soul that he doesn't acknowledge. Okay, that was the part that she wanted to see most and she never got to see it, right? So in essence, you felt left out in the cold, right? But they're willing to stand out in the cold and endure that. Strength card. And endure it. They just don't know what it is, because remember, they want to move towards it, but they don't know what they're moving towards, right? So I'm willing to stand in the rain. It's reminding me of that video, you know, with the guy, the radio in front of the house, and he's like playing the song and he's playing the beatbox. So maybe the divine masculine feels that they need to do something, take the negativity, honestly, right? That the divine feminine might be projecting outwards, because they feel like in some sense that's karma. That's what they did when they weren't awake. And so they kind of are understanding for the first time in their emotionality, right? That they kind of deserve it. They kind of deserve it. They might not be saying that, but they kind of deserve it, right? Because that's the only way the wheel will turn, right? So there's a realization. I find it, you know, both these cards, you know, it's like saying, you know, I have to put your shoes on now. What is the divine feminine willing to do outwardly to bring into balance this union with the divine masculine, whether this is internal or external? I want to make sure I keep clarifying, because not everything is about a relationship and having a man, okay? This is about internal growth. So I feel like what the divine feminine feels is that she must stand by her decision. Okay? It's like cutting out cancer, right? She's like, I cut the cancer out, right? That's what I had to do to save the vessel, right? Page of Wands reverse. I feel like you might have felt like their inability to allow you in that little piece of themselves was directed at you. Not their inability to access it on the grand scheme. But you feel that the reason why they couldn't let you in is because they didn't have enough passion for you. So you turned their lack into something that you saw as inequitable within yourself. Like, in other words, you're the cause of why. So that would make more sense why we don't want to look in the mirror, because we think that looking at them after we've ripped out whatever or cut out whatever is looking at when we were not desirable. So it's like an ugly chapter that you can't really grow from, because it just made you feel undesirable. But maybe it was your perception, your perspective, right? And also that that it was you that was permitting things because you weren't whole. So it's both, right? And then the King of Swords in reverse, okay? King of Swords in reverse, you could see them as very toxic, right? But remember that mirror, right? So maybe while you're leaving those messages unread, or while you're telling them I'm done, or like with the person that I was saying I was talking to yesterday, and their person was trying to make effort and all she could see was disgust, it's because you see them as this like nasty narcissistic person, right? But they might not even be that. They're just further behind their awakening. Okay? There goes the Five of Cups. Everybody is crying over spilled milk. Different perceptions of the same story. Right? And how burdensome it was. How does the divine masculine believe? What do they think will be the outcome of this? So they see you as loving. Their perception has not changed. Okay, Four of Wands. Even if this person hasn't arrived yet, this is what they feel a divine feminine is. Okay, so whoever this masculine is, even if he doesn't have the history with you, he may have had that history with somebody else that taught him that, you know what, the divine feminine been through a lot of shit, right? But she's mad loving and she feels like home. What's that song by Luther where he says a house is not a home without her? Right? So whether this is your ex, a new person, whatever, this is the general awakening of the divine masculine. He sees that something's wrong. He doesn't know what it is, but he does know that some change has to happen. And he's willing to endure some shit. Okay? What does the divine feminine feel? Yes, it turns you into a therapist trying to help, right? What does most likely the outcome feel like for the divine feminine? So she has the High Priestess with the Moon in reverse and the Eight of Pentacles coming out crossed. You're very much right now concentrated on the connection between the divine and yourself. It feels like that's paramount right now. Okay? The Moon in reverse. I feel like this Moon in reverse is like, I don't have to worry about somebody lying to me or keeping secrets if the only real relationship I have is with spirit. So I don't even know if I want to work on this, because so many things have been revealed to me about what I couldn't see or wouldn't see while I was there. And now I don't know if it's salvageable. And he's over there, even if it's down to the wire, babe. Right? So he's seeing it in a different way. Okay? You could have gone back to school. You could have, this could be mystery schools, right? But I just want to remind you, right? That time period could have taught you how to save money, how to, you know, ride out storms, right? How to better yourself, right? But what part are you holding on to that you haven't released, that you haven't admitted to yourself, that you haven't released, right? Because look at you. You came through, but you got wounds too. Don't think you don't. Don't think you don't, right? Here's the picture. The Ten of Cups. This is what we all want, both the masculine and the feminine, to stand there in our naturalness. Adam and Eve, or Adam and Lilith, and be equal and be in the light of love, right? But what is your inner voice telling you about the divine masculine, and does it sound healthy to you? Does it? I mean, be honest. Does it? All right, so let's take a kipper. What else do we need to know here, Spirit? What else do we need to know? Sudden wealth, 11, 2. Journey. I think that's where I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow in the way that I see the divine masculine. Okay? Because I'm not saying that my experiences with these people weren't toxic or they didn't have things, but that also means that I had things. I had things I had to learn because it couldn't have happened if it wasn't for my participation. Anything else? Thank you. Mature man at the bottom of the deck. Sudden wealth. Desire. What did I say about the feminine and what she values and him being activated and having to look at, he always thought he was the most valuable thing. He was socialized that way. He was told that the wife is the ball and chain, right? But what if you recognize, you know, as a masculine, I'm not a man, so I can't say, right? But what if you recognize that there's so much more to this desire of healing from the feminine than just sex, right? And then if one day you wake up because you got cracked open by spirit and you realize that that desire was really speaking of something larger, that the divine feminine is like a healing, abundance of love and wealth, and all of a sudden you wake up to that one day. Okay, here's the journey. Here's the journey. Here's what they want. They're not all the way awake. They are partially awake. But this realization, honey, I got to tell you something. This is you. You know why? Because they're hearing something inside of them, although they don't understand what that is. Right? And you can't see that because you still see them as this narcissistic asshole over here. And maybe that dude you were dealing with was, but they can't all be. They can't all be. Right? Right? That could still be us. Covering our eyes because it hurts so bad. And I don't want to look at any of yous. Right? Because you're all the same. Right? Why? Because you've been triggered. Right? And the magnetic pull for them, and look at you pulling away. Now, this doesn't have to be your ex. I keep saying it. This could be a new person. But you're going to pull away because you have a trust issue. I got to call it out, yo. I got to say what Spirit told me to say. Gift. We're going to talk about some stuff, ladies. And this shadow that lives within us too. And this shadow that lives within us too. What did I say? That for you, your inner high priestess, right? Your judgment was saying that karma, that's what they get, that's what they deserve, and that the lack of passion was a reflection of you and you see them in this toxic way. All right, let's talk about how they see you. Even if they're not with you right now. Even if it's somebody from the future and they're just looking at the divine feminine as a whole. What? Look, gift. The divine feminine is a gift. Something that should last forever. Make it last forever, ever. 17 reduces to 8, right? Meeting two or more people. So basically that meeting the divine feminine, whether they've met the divine feminine or not, they look at that as the blessing. That's the wealth. That's the gift. Where's the divine feminine? Where's the divine feminine this? She's like retaliation. She's like, you get everything that you deserve. Because that shit that you put me through, okay? This is like, you know, you got a girlfriend that still in that circle, or maybe she deals with one of those masculines and she'll call you every time and be like, girl, guess what happened? And you be ready to hear that shit because you want to hear that they can't make it without you. Okay? You want them to get their comeuppance. But who's drinking the Kool-Aid, them or you? Look, irreconcilable differences. Right? Listen, there's some divine, and I ain't gonna front. When I was a younger girl, I did that with my baby daddy. Like he fucking destroyed me when I was young. And we broke up. And I moved on with my life. And then he came back. And I got back with him. But something told me, you know, and I'm glad I did because I had my 2 kids and they're beautiful. They're blessings every day, right? But at a certain point after I had them, I was like, I'm leaving this man. I'm leaving him, and that's exactly what he gets. There was a part of me that wanted to make him pay for that shit he had did years ago. Okay? So that bitterness, whether it's directed to one person or to the breed, how far is that going to take you, right? Let's look at this mature man, right? Number 5 looks like change, right? And maybe you don't get to witness that change, that growth. But that means that there's another divine masculine that is experiencing that wants to experience something beautiful with you. And will you allow it if you haven't done this shadow work, all right? Mature man. Children, right? Could have had children with this person. They could be looking back. They could be at a thinking back in time when love was only in the mind. They could be looking at their lives through their children's eyes. They could realize that the decisions they made were very childlike. I did say that there was something here about them feeling this extraordinary. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. This childlike energy, right? Nightlife. They took so many risks and they're recognizing that shit. How they gambled with the divine feminines. Who knows? This masculine could have met 4, 5, 6 divine feminines and did the same shit. You don't know. Right? And they're looking and reflecting like, damn, right? Waves of emotions coming and going, right? And look at the main female right here with thief next to her, because that's how you view them. Like they stole your time, they stole, you know, your love. With entrapment, you feel duped. But you invested in them. They didn't tell you to do that. Most of the time, they tell you no. You know what I'm saying? So you did that. So you entrapped you. Let's keep it a buck. Karmic with thief and wish, right? You feel a little angry that you feel like they stole something from you with this third-party relationship lesson. They could have, they could have cheated on you. It could be various ways, right? Maybe you want them to feel how they made you feel. That's your wish. Then you're still blocking yourself. Okay? Maybe you check in on the page every once in a while just to see if they got any fuckery going on so you can feel better. Okay? Sorry, I moved the... Yes, we have to look at ourselves, the two sides of ourselves. Okay, I really feel like we still, even with all the ascension that the divine feminine is going through, we still have a lot of work to do too. Okay, I was telling this person that I was talking to while I was explaining to her to be making sure that she doesn't look in this person's face and see the disgust that she thinks she has for him is really about what she permitted when she was with him. Right. And then I said, you know, because I'm older, this woman was, you know, early, like gonna be 30, right? And I said to her, my experience now, where I am now, is more about recognizing that, because, and it's like somebody said in the thing, that the trust issues and the things and the toxicity sometimes that we receive from the divine masculine, our nature is to want to repair and heal. So we become like the therapist because we think that it's going to help them, right? Like I'm in the space now where I don't want to do that anymore. Okay, like I don't want to do that anymore. I want to know why I get like that. Like why do I feel the need to fix this person when it was really a reflection of what the fuck was going on within me? Not to say that they didn't have any hand in it, but like I'm so much into my own growth. And I still have to be careful, right? Because I could be so much into my own growth that I can't understand theirs. Okay? And I'm still in a relationship. Okay? So when you're going through an ascension with someone and they're not at the same point as you, it can be hella hard. Yes, we have to look at ourselves. I'm not saying that we didn't encounter toxic people. Ladies, I will give you an all virtual hug, like for real. But we also, if we want better, we need to look too at us. Because we grew up in the same system they did. Even if it was structured differently by the sexes. Okay, I'm not talking about, you know, who you like to sleep with, or, you know, men or women. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just like how they put us to believe, to see things as such opposing energies. What comes out here? Separation, true love, retreat. Let's look at them. Separation. Children. Some of you had to leave somebody behind because they weren't open to having children. And you felt like life was passing you by, so you separated. Some of you, they could have had a child on you. Some of you could have left because you felt that this person was a fucking child. There's just so many things here. Okay, some of you, like I said about the woman that I was speaking to yesterday, you may have children with this person and you're trying to figure out how to navigate all this shit while you're still trying to clear out your shit. They could be coming over, picking up the kids and telling you, like, I'm changed. You want to give it a shot? And you're looking at them like they got 6 heads. Right? True love. What? This is not an accident. This is not an accident. And listen, I'm not saying run back to that toxic ex who was beating your ass. We're not talking about that. Okay? But we are talking about what is happening within the divine masculine and what is happening within the divine feminine. And what is our shots at attaining what we have felt up until this point was the unattainable. Look at this shit. Both parties still believe in true love. That's the best news yet, right? Here's the problem. We both got our own versions of trust issues. Right? We don't trust them because, you know, all this, the conqueror and having to have as many women. And they don't trust us because, you know, they were told from the gate, you know, Eve bit the apple, you know, she's a seductress. She wants your money, right? So there's trust issues on both sides. And I'm sure that they ran into a feminine who showed them what happens when you know, when the divine feminine is in her shadow. Okay? It could have been you that showed them that. Could have been somebody else. I know my first ex-husband, he probably hear my name right now, and he's like, man, I got my ass all the way handed to me. And I'm sure he would say that he deserved some of it, but he probably feels like I am the description of the toxic feminine, because I was then. I left at 23. Okay? So retreat. He probably like, that bitch right there, man. And he would be right to a certain extent. I mean, he did a lot of things, you know, but he would be right because so much had happened that when I left out of there, there was just no way for him to, he could have stood on his head, child. It wouldn't have mattered. I was done. Right? Retreat. Right? We all want to end up to retreat with our divine partner, right? Even though that is within you, right? And then once you get to that point where that part is within you that feels complete, where I think the divine feminine is just awakening to that, right? She can realize that this was something meant to complement her, not to make her whole. Which is why the divine feminine feels betrayed, because she was trying to be whole by this masculine rather than seeing that she was already whole, right? And then you have soulmates here with unclear. And I said this before, I think it was in the last divine masculine reading where I was saying that be careful, you know, that those trust issues and all that has triggered you. And it's wonderful that we're doing this ascension and we're cleaning our shadow selves up and we're doing all this inner child healing and that, right? But be careful, you know, that you haven't closed yourself off, right? Or is this unclear saying that you're starting to think that, you know, the divine masculine is like a unicorn, like it's something made up, right? Because he still believes. Okay? Do you believe? You see these? This is the tree of life right here. This is the womb. We're the only thing of the human species that gives both birth to the masculine and the feminine. We are like the face of God here. We've talked about this. Okay? So, now that you're coming into this wholeness, I said yesterday, whether it was friend, lover, family member, if they betrayed you, pray for them. Stop having the anger towards them. Okay? They're just in a different part of the ascension than you are. And what right do you have to judge anyway? I'm sure if you sat down, I know, listen, I still got some shit with me. I do, because although I have been, and I was just saying this to my best friend today, I have been more balanced in the last year and a half than I've been in my whole life, right? But you catch me in the right moment, right? You catch me in the right moment and you irritate me enough. And I will give you wholly the business, right? And won't feel bad. I've been in therapy for like the larger part of my life, right? So therapy taught me to take the pen out and keep it pushing. Like, say what you got to say and you'll feel better, right? So when I say something, it's not like I don't mean that shit. I meant it. That's the fucked up part, right? Because a lot of these people, these masculines, they're saying things they don't really know because they don't really mean it, because they don't even know what they feel, because they don't even know that part of themselves. Whereas the divine feminine, she's speaking out of anger because she's sure she feels that way. All right, I'm going to get Love Your Inner Goddess card, because I feel like my beautiful divine feminines, you know, I was not trying to kick y'all backs in today. Remember, I'm team divine feminine. I'm with y'all. But we have shit with us too. Okay? And let's say this divine masculine here is your son. Would you view him in such toxicity? Or is it just because he let you down? Yes, Copenhagen. She says, but Lovelee, if you didn't have any issues, you wouldn't be able to help us, so many people. You are for real, and that's why you are so loved. Thank you so much, Copenhagen. And I do feel like a lot of the high priestesses, we out here probably got a lot of wounds because we can't speak on shit we didn't experience, you know? That's facts. All right, let's see what Spirit wants to tell us about, you know, the divine feminine. What does Spirit want to remind you about yourself, okay? What does Spirit want to remind you about yourself? Because I feel like we are ascending, we are coming into wholeness, but don't forget who you used to be. Don't not look at him because you don't want to look at her and you think you could just leave her behind, because she comes with you everywhere you go. If you avoid her, you avoid you and you avoid the growth. Let's see. Spirit, can you show me what message do my beautiful divine goddesses need today? What do they need to know? Anything else from this text, Spirit? And then I gotta go because I gotta pick up my son. I'm acting like I could just stay on here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep you guys so long. Blame my gypsy soul. You're like, fuck that. Okay? You're like, they get what they deserve. Okay, that's at the bottom of the deck. All right? First one, free spirit. And wasn't that what the masculine was? Right? He didn't feel attachments. He felt like he was the main one, right? And we've kind of traded places. In a reading, when we have an active imagination, we configure to use it for dreams and instead let it create nightmares. There's something that you've been worrying about. There's no need to torment yourself. Let go of any thoughts, attitudes, or beliefs that are based in fear. So the way you view the masculines collectively is based in your fear and your trauma, okay? They are not helpful, necessary, or accurate. Everything has a positive and loving purpose, even if we cannot see or know what it is straight away. You'll find a loving solution comes to you easily and at the perfect time as you choose to avoid of fearful thinking. Let yourself be free to feel positive about your future and know that everything's going to be okay. So we don't have any right to judge, nor should we want to. Okay, if you're still angry at your ex, you didn't get the point. Okay? Here's a sacred ritual attached to this card. Open your arms wide to the heavens as if they were wings. Express yourself through your wings for a moment. Say a big yes to the universe now, using your voice, using your wings, using your soul. Let your spirit be free. Okay? Like, yes! Sorry. But they're telling you, open yourself. Okay? You also have here priority of purpose. Do you feel rudderless, without direction, now that the purpose is not where the divine masculine is? What is your purpose alone? We were raised to only worry about that, right? Most of us, anyway. Priority of purpose. You are a dreamer, but you are also meant to be a doer. It's the right time to cast off some of the demands on your time and attention that are keeping you from pursuing your true purpose. If you have many dreams, that's fine, but it is wise to focus on what you can do now. Allow your other dreams to percolate in the background for a while. When it's time to attend to them, you'll know. For now, do what you can and don't be afraid to make a sacrifice or two along the way. Those sacrifices will be repaid in more ways than you currently know. You won't lose anything by dropping the distractions and going for it. In other words, the shadow work that you've been doing is working. It's good, right? But at the same time, don't write off all men, right? Because later, once you're more used to this new frequency, this new harmony, you will have closed the door. You have to still be able to let love in all forms. This is the frequency of the universe. This is, unity consciousness, love in all forms, right? Sacred ritual attached to this. Write a list entitled, "This is what matters most to my heart and soul." Read your list aloud and then say, "I trust that my soul is blessed and will show me how to create my most beautiful destiny, one step at a time." Okay? And then the last one you have here is Queen of Hearts. In a reading, your heart has been chosen by the divine to be a temple for spiritual light, an inner place where grace and healing can dwell. This is very special. A temple is kept clean and pure, scented with sacred perfumes and incense, made beautiful with our feelings of reverence and love for the spirit, kept uncluttered and spacious so that as much spiritual presence as possible can enter. When spirit enters and fills the temple of the heart, things are extraordinary beauty take place. Even the apparently impossible becomes possible. Clear your heart temple with forgiveness, gratitude, and love for the spirit so it can fulfill its divine destiny of being sacred channel for being divine grace. So it's okay to have purged, right? But it also says leave room so that when spirit comes, you can be filled. And if you're holding on to old resentments from JoJo and whomever, even if it's not JoJo that comes, you will put it on Tommy or, whatever the fuck his name is, right? So the only way is, listen, if they're changing, but we refuse to see it, what good does it serve? Then won't we be the toxic one? Won't we be the one still holding on to the toxicity? Here's the sacred ritual attached to this card. Place your hands in prayer and say these sacred words aloud. My beautiful heart is queen and divine love is king. Together they rule the holy kingdom upon heaven and earth with harmony, grace, and joy. And isn't it strange that this card is talking about the beautiful heart is queen and the divine love is king, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Okay, within and without, as above, so below, right? So this is what it's about. Okay? So I feel like that's why spirit was like, wait a minute. We just cracked the divine masculine open. We need to have a conversation. Forget about Witchy Wednesdays today. We need to have a conversation about how the divine feminine might actually get jumped over, skipped, right? Because in all her work on herself, she forgot to like turn her head and look around. Okay? I feel like that's a powerful message, ladies. I really do. And, you know, to my divine masculines watching, that I think that they be watching sometimes in silence, we applaud you for the work you're trying to do. Okay? Never feel like we don't have love for you. Okay? We're just shell-shocked. Okay? We're shell-shocked too. Okay? Just in a different direction. Okay? So I just want the divine masculines to know that we're here for them. Okay? We may not be here for them in the capacity that we were, where we were, you know, absorbing their shit and making it our problem. But we're here to encourage them and tell them that it's beautiful to love, to be loved, to allow love. All right? So that's what I have for you guys today. Okay, I'd just like to say thank you to my returning subscribers for coming through and spending a little time with me. And if you're a new viewer and you felt I resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and comment, as I'd love to have you as part of the Lovely Soul family. And I'm wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Bye.